What the fuck's going on, guys? ¿Cómo están? BugaLuis here, and welcome back to another video here on the channel. And what in the world did we just see, man? I must be honest with all of you guys, I actually enjoyed this game. Not because, of course, the result is a separate different thing, but my goodness, this game was thrilling. It was ravaging from the start, from the get-go. I was kind of hooked into how tactical this game was. And especially because Barcelona were giving a complete slapping around to Atletico Madrid. Even though it was 0-0, the result didn't reflect at all what happened throughout the game. Barca were dominating, they had the rhythm, they had the symphony, they had every single note that needed to be played, and the music that was coming out of it, it was almost perfect. It was insane to see the chemistry, the combination between Messi, Suarez and Griezmann, to see Jordi Alba and Sergio Roberto putting in wonderful performances through the flanks. Then in the middle you had Vidal doing an absolute masterpiece. Even though, once again, Barca lost, Vidal, man of the match by a landslide. It really was such an incredible game. But then the appearance of VAR out of nowhere came. And then I guess, I'm not gonna say Barca imploded, because in reality we didn't, but oh my goodness, what a game. I guess this game, Barca had the... I cannot even explain what happened, man. We played good and we didn't got the result at all. That's just how it is. I cannot come here. Normally throughout 2 years, I've been disappointed constantly. I've been coming here and saying to you guys, oh, we just played horribly wrong. Even though we won, we were supposed to lose. And all of you were in the same symphony as me. But in this game, I guess we can say and put our heads up and say Barca played good, and then Atletico, penalty, multiple VAR going their way, and then just a counter-attack and they get the win. It's typical FIFA, man. You pull out the stats and it's FIFA, literally. It's those bullshit games that you do not know how you lose. So instead of like normal how we go over the main talking points first, I'm actually decided to kind of just take you through my notes, because in every game that I watch, I write notes down, and I think that it's worth a while doing this for this game, because there's no way to explain it in simple words. You see the result and you see Barcelona losing and you were like, oh, Barcelona of normal, you know, Valverde, and they not being aesthetically pleasing, they didn't play good football. But no, in reality, Barca did play good football and still they lost. And Atletico Madrid were completely being washed by Barca and they won. So I think this is the best way for us to kind of explain what happened minute by minute. So let's start off right away with the very first thing, which are the lineups. And for Barcelona, I was extremely excited to see Arturo Vidal being put in here in the team. He just adds that extra verticality that we don't normally get. And of course, the energy and concentration that demands a kind of game of this size, a semi-final, you know, of the Supercopa de España. He was up for it. For me, the man of the match, Arturo Vidal, he was the man of the match, okay? Do not fight me, because I got so many arguments in favor for him in this game. He was absolutely superb. We know how much he runs, how much ground he covers, but it's not only doing that, it's knowing how to run and when to do it, you know? You can have the heart of gold, but if in reality you don't have kind of like a clear mentality next to it, being smart and clever by the way that you do your runs, who you're gonna cover, then your whole team can actually suffer. But Arturo Vidal does it correctly, because he doesn't only know what kind of objective he's gonna go to, but then what is he leaving behind, because he always does it, and then Busquets or De Jong are ready to kind of fill in that gap. And that is something that I like for Barca with Arturo Vidal being implemented into the team, because it then makes, like I say, Busquets push into that position, and then Umtiti kind of push a little bit further forward, and our whole team is moving. And that is what we are lacking with Valverde. Valverde seems that throughout kind of his entire tenure here at Barca, he's telling the players, do not move. You know what? Keep your position, stay there, stay calm. And that is not what we need. Barcelona has always been about moving. It's not only where you're going to pass the ball, it's where you're going to circulate next. And Arturo Vidal helps with that simply because he actually moves. That's his game style. And that is why Vidal is such an instrumental piece to what Barca is doing nowadays. After that, there were initial approaches from Atletico Madrid, from Joao Felix and Morata. Not too many where Neto had to intervene, but there was a clear sense that they were taking their opportunities correctly. The plan that Atletico Madrid implemented was very similarly to that of when Atletico faces Barcelona in the past 2 seasons. that Simeone has been just simply kind of stunned by Messi for so long that his plan is always going to be to remain in the game for as long as possible. Simeone always wants to keep the margin at 1 goal. And ultimately, guess what? That's what made Barcelona lose this game. Barcelona were superior. They were washing away Atletico Madrid completely. But because the margin, the goal difference was simply one goal, Atletico Madrid were always in the battle, and that is something that worries me a lot. You have to put the energy for the first goal to get that difference, and then you have to put energy for the next one, because always one goal is going to be kind of much smaller than 2, you know, because they don't equalize right away. So that is something that I think Barca had to learn, and they're learning here through the bad means, of course. I'm going to pinpoint here one player that I had, and I'm going to do that first of all with Atletico Madrid players. Let's talk about them first and then more in depth about the Barca players like I did with Arturo Vidal. So quickly I put here that I was very impressed with Thomas Partey, because Thomas has been kind of this, you look at him and you know, you see a defensive midfielder. You see someone that is always capable of the tackle in the right moments. He knows how to read the game as well. But in this game, even though Atletico Madrid didn't have the ball, whenever he had it, he was the first man to try and distribute it. And I was very surprised about that. His passing game has improved a lot. And I gotta say thumbs up for Partey. That one is a player that a lot of teams would like to have. The other player that I have to talk about is Felipe Montero. I think that's his last name. Felipe bought from Porto. And I'm not gonna be myself kind of exposing myself as the kind of connoisseur of Portuguese football, La Liga knows. But when he moved now to Atletico Madrid, I'm seeing why he was bought. He's 30 years old, he shows that experience, and man, there were kind of 5 different times where Barcelona were constantly knocking on the door, repeatedly, consecutively, and Felipe was the guy in all of those 5 opportunities. Between, if I'm not wrong, between the 30th minute and the 37th minute, Felipe was doing all of those clearances. 5 clearances consecutively from Felipe, that was insane. And then of course, Jan Oblak, he was keeping Atletico Madrid in the game. I don't know how he manages those saves. I'm very similar to Ter Stegen. I literally have no words for the both of them, the best goalkeepers in the world. He's just incredible, and you could see how the battle between him and Griezmann was always going to end in a win for Oblak. Of course, Griezmann scored his goal from a rebound when Oblak wasn't prepared, but Oblak always knew where Antoine was going to put it. And that's where the kind of familiarity between the two players, the constant trainings and the kind of shootouts come into place. Oblak always was one step ahead of Antoine Griezmann, and it paid off for them. So here what I've written down as the main factor for Barca being constantly on top of Atletico Madrid, for me had to be the way that simply Messi and Griezmann circulated around Suarez. Suarez for the first 30th minute was actually kind of playing as a left winger, which was very interesting, as a left-hand-sided kind of striker, like when he first arrived at Barcelona. And I actually think that is something that Valverde should continue to try later down in the different games, because it allows then Messi to take more of a kind of false nine position and Antoine Griezmann to circulate through the right hand side when he has a much better profile to shoot. He was always kind of there and thereabouts, even though he didn't got any chances right from the get-go. He was always kind of deadly and gave Atletico Madrid defenders a very big headache. And Messi, of course, with his natural profile as well, it worked very nicely. So I think that actually having a front three here of Suarez through the left, then Messi, then Antoine Griezmann through the middle, and then Messi through the right, it would work. You know, Suarez left, Griezmann middle, and then Messi to the left. That's when I think Barca looked the best. But well, now moving to the second half, that's when we saw the goals happen. All 5 goals in the second half. Literally, when you saw the result 0-0 in the first one, you kind of anticipated this was going to be a long game. And this could have been a long game if, well, what happened. But we're going to be getting to that point right now. So the goal from Atletico Madrid came completely out of nowhere. It was completely unexpected for Barca fans. In my opinion, definitely it was unexpected. I wasn't even ready watching the game. It came literally so fast. Atletico Madrid started from a kickoff very, very fast, very early. Barcelona completely asleep, and it was Koke who just came into the game and then managed to score. So good on Koke and good on Atletico Madrid. But after that, it happened everything so fast that Atletico Madrid didn't even notice that they were 1 goal up, because they weren't kind of more focused on defending. They were still kind of just thereabouts, kind of standing in their own ground and letting Barcelona come closer. Normally when you get that goal, you kind of want to make the other team a little bit uneasy. But no, it actually gave Barcelona this kind of more, they were a little bit more intense. I think that's the word I want to use. It looked like they were ferocious, like someone stole their food and Barca wanted to get into it, and that's what happened. Because the goal actually came through a tremendous effort from Messi 5 minutes later, in which Messi just simply battles Koke and outmuscles Stevan Savic, and then gets the goal through the right foot. A lovely curler pass Oblak, I gotta say, and definitely a great pass from Vidal into the box, and then Suarez to Messi. I just think that overall, it showed that kind of that motivation that was lacking in previous games still there. When there's something on the line, where's that trophy very kind of close and nearby, the Barca players are gonna show up. And I was worried that it wasn't going to happen, but they were kind of doing it in this game. 9 minutes later came another goal from Messi. This one was, however, ruled out by VAR. And here's where we're gonna be having one of those discussions. You know, you see a lot of football YouTubers talking about VAR, and I never really kind of get into it, but today we're gonna be talking about VAR. So this first goal, in my opinion, was correctly ruled offside. Not offside, handball. I think that Messi, when he kind of pulls it down with his shoulder, if it was hit here, if it hit here in the front part of his shoulder, that would have been a goal, and that is normal because you can use this part of your body. But when you see the replays, it actually kind of falls in this part, and this is considered a handball. So with that kind of rules, with those sort of criteria, I'm gonna say it was correctly ruled out. If it wasn't, it was going to be an incredible ball because not too many players get that idea of using his shoulder to kind of put it down and control it. But Messi, he has every single gun, golden gun, diamond gun, dark matter gun in the closet, and he's gonna use it correctly in his arsenal. But like I said, it was ruled out by VAR, and my opinion on it was that it was correctly ruled off. Yet we didn't have to wait long because 3 minutes later, Antoine Griezmann came in and scored the second for Barcelona in this game. It was an incredible pass from Suarez. If you didn't see it, the way that the goal originated was Suarez with a cheap pass all the way from one flank to the other into Jordi Alba. And Jordi Alba just ran, then crossed it all the way back to Luis Suarez. Look at this 1-2 and how kind of much ground he took up. The talent is always gonna be there for these Barca players. Then Suarez uses his header, and with violence. I'm talking with rage. I'm talking with desire. Such a powerful header to just make Oblak kind of had to just rebound it because he wasn't going to catch it and he wasn't going to be able to redirect it. That header from Suarez had more power in it than Oblak could have ever imagined. And it then bounced back into Antoine Griezmann, open net. He's gonna score his third versus one-on-one against Oblak. Griezmann puts it in the back of the net, and he's going to be 2-1 for Barcelona legitimately. And after that goal, Barcelona continued knocking on the front door of Atletico Madrid. They really went for it, and that was something that I'm happy with. Normally Barcelona, after scoring the goal, they sit back, but not in this game. They were going for it, they were trying to get that next goal because they knew that Atletico Madrid are always in the game. And the turning tides for me was around the 68th minute onwards. Why the 68th minute? Because I believe there was a penalty that wasn't given for Barcelona. Saul came in late into a challenge of Arturo Vidal in their own area. Saul, literally as soon as the substitution for Koke going out injured and then Vitolo entering, Saul was pushed back as a left back. And literally just seconds after, he makes that challenge. It was a penalty. It was a clear penalty for me. There was no ball being played in that situation whatsoever. If the VAR didn't check that, I don't know what's wrong. Because all of the other decisions that we're gonna go over, I think they were right. But this one is where I'm really having an issue with. Use VAR for every decision. Literally, the guys are sitting there as I'm watching the game. Why do I see this? Why can I make these comments? Why can I kind of reflect on this situation, on this one-on-one, on this foul, on this penalty that should have been given, and not the persons on the VAR? Why do those referees have to remain silent? Why do there only has to be VAR in 3 occasions? You know, if there's a clear penalty, and actually one of those rules is that, why wouldn't VAR check it? There was a clear penalty. There was a plancha, una maldita puta plancha que no se la dieron a Vidal. Y eso debería haber sido penal. That it was supposed to be a penalty and it wasn't given. Then 5 minutes later, in the 73rd minute, came the next goal that was ruled from Barcelona. And this one was from a set piece, which Messi saw Arturo Vidal moving past, I think it was Mario, no, it was not Mario Marzo. Who was it? Could it be Saul again? Where kind of Vidal looks at Saul and starts running, Messi chips it past, yeah, it was Saul definitely. It falls onto Arturo Vidal with violence once again, puts the balls kind of perpendicularly into Pique, and Pique, all it has to do is kind of just slot it into the back of the net. That for me was and should have been a goal. But then VAR also comes in and looks at it. But from second kind of a third look at it, if we're gonna be using that criteria again of being super specific, it was directly ruled off. But once again, this criteria is completely stupid because I read the rules. You take a look at it. The criteria says that any part of the body that can come into contact with a goal or give the attacking an advantage is going to be ruled out. And yes, Arturo Vidal was offside, but just for a tiny inch. But then why does VAR doesn't apply for all of their situations that are not given? I still kind of stand my ground on that. It was like correctly ruled off for Arturo Vidal. It was harsh. Yes, it was harsh. But if we're gonna do harsh things, then you also have to do harsh things on the revisions. And that, for me, didn't happen, even though this goal was correctly ruled out. And well then, moments later, we saw the penalty from Neto on Vitolo, which, if I'm not wrong, it was De Jong losing the ball. I'm not too sure. I would like to remember how did Barcelona lose the ball in that situation, because that could have possibly been a very big fault that we need to kind of remedy. But, well, the penalty was given and it was Morata that slotted in. Neto went the wrong way and it was 2-2, and I don't know what in the world was going on. I keep repeating myself, the way that Atletico Madrid were playing, what they wanted to do was always keep themselves in the game. And at the end of the day, Simeone knows that style by heart, and it worked for them in this situation. It worked for them and they were equalizing the last few minutes. I must say that I was worried because literally 1 minute afterwards came a penalty that was ruled out for Atletico Madrid. It was a handball on Pique. Pique looked like he was going to move it and then pull it back right in the right second. I think that if we're going to be super harsh, there could have been a penalty. I do think it was kind of hit by Pique, but I don't know. I just looked at it kind of once and two. I was raging at that time. I wasn't thinking straight. But yeah, it depends to see what happened. What is your opinion on that situation? Do you think that penalty should have been given or not? And then last but not least came the final goal. And here, I don't have anything more to talk about here on my notes. That goal, 86th minute, 4 minutes after that penalty was ruled out for Atletico Madrid. And they just scored. Angel Correa was open. He wasn't offside. Legitimate goal. And Barcelona were out. Barcelona were out of the Supercopa de España. And at that moment I knew just like Valverde at that point, I was like, this man has to leave. Even when we play good, we lose now. Even when Barca play good, we lose now. When we play bad, we draw, we lose. When we play good, we lose still. Where's the work? Where's anything that's happening in this team? This is just super mini rant because in reality, I think Barca play good, but I'm still saying, what more can we do to get this man off our club? I just want change. And the easiest change now at this moment is just kick out the manager. Apart from that, good game, good solid things in Arturo Vidal that we need to keep him. Not only an outstanding center midfielder, but just an outstanding footballer all around. Gives so much to the game. Not only for Barca, but simply just with heart, with passion, puts everything on the field, every single moment, doesn't care who's in front of him, he always runs. This is a semi-final, goddammit, and I really wanted to play that game against Real Madrid. I really wanted to play that game against Real Madrid because it could have been an amazing boost, but who knows? Sometimes there are curses, there are kind of things, there are kind of, what do you call it? They're kind of miracles in disguise. So perhaps this loss, this defeat can give Barca some sort of kind of fresh start. Who knows? I think this is a harsh defeat on the team. In reality, like I said, we play good at Atletico Madrid. I don't know what the fuck happened in this game, but it happened, and now we just gotta continue. And my goodness, oh my god, I'm sweating so fucking much. That's gonna be it. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Ciao.